वीतराग परमात्मा महावीर को नमन। अनंत शक्ति के स्रोत परम पूज्य गुरुदेव श्री महाश्रमण जी को नमन। I bow down in the lotus feet of Adinath Bhagwan. Now we would like to start first sloka of Bhaktamara Stotra, and for that I would like to request Sachi Mehta to recite the first slok. Unmute yourself, Sachi.
Yes, Vandami Namam Sami Shamiji and Omaram to all. Om Rishabhaya Namaha. Om Rishabhaya Namaha. Om Rishabhaya Namaha. Bhaktamara Pranathamoni Mani Pavana Motutakam Dalita Papatamo Vitanam Samyapanam Yajina Patayugam Yugada Varambanam Tavajale Patatam Jananam. Umaram to all, and I hope you all have an amazing Bhaktambar journey.
Thank you, Sachi. It was melodious and well done. The first sloka of Bhaktamar. It opens with great power of Adinath Bhagwan. Adinath Bhagwan, as I mentioned in the historical background, that Adinath Bhagwan, he became the first Tirthankara in this Chovisi or in this era. And that's why he is one of the most important in this time cycle. So if we try to understand Adinath Bhagwan and his contribution, so first of all, we see, understand the why in the Yuga Ado. So in the sloka, if you see the first slok, when we recite Bhaktamara Pranata Mauli Mani Prabhana Mudyotakam Dalita Papatamo Vitanam Samyak Pranamya Jina Pad Yugam Yugada Valambanam Bhavajale Patatam Jananam. So Bhaktamara Pranata Mauli Mani Prabhana Mudyotakam Dalita Papatamo Vitanam Samyak Pranamya Jinapad Yugam Yugada Valambanam Bhavajali Patatam Jananam. Bhakt, you know, in this world, we have so many hierarchies. In the path of spirituality, there is one Bhakt and one Bhagwan. But interestingly, in Jain philosophy, a journey of devotee when started, and one day, Bhakt himself became a Bhagwan. So it is the free will and the power of equality in Jainism. So Bhakta has power to be a Bhagwan. Then second term is Amar. Amar means immortal. So if we see the philosophical point of view, nobody is immortal. Human beings have their lifespan, and divine beings, subhumans, hellish beings, might be someone's lifespan is so long, and that is measured by Sagaropam, Palyopam, and that is again terminological, uh, Jain terminology. So it need more explanation. For the Amar means divine beings. Their lifespan is so long. So symbolically, they are immortals. So in synonyms of a divine being, Devata means Amar, means Na Mar iti Amar. They never die, but it is not true. It is symbolical because of their longevity. Their lifespan is so long, so many millions lifespan of a human being is one lifespan of divine being. And therefore, it is that term Amar is appropriate. Pranat, Namri Bhut means bow down. So this is specific tradition of Jain, Buddhist, Hindu, almost all Indic religions. They have that when they are humble, they bow down, they pay their homage, respect. So that is one gesture. Then Mauli, Mauli means crown. Again, it is the symbol of power. Money, it is the symbol jewels. So money means jewels, and there are so many types of money and with different type of powers. So money also the power of richness and different capacity of the monies. Prabhana, lusters. So each and every money have their own impact, and these jewels have their own color, then their power and their effect. Then Udyotakam, Prakashit Karne Wale, that brighten. So here, when I narrate the whole story of the first sloka, then it will be automatic connected. Papam, sins, or demeritorious karma, the rising state of demeritorious karma is came as known as pap. Tamo, darkness. Vitanam, and means expansion of the darkness. Dalit means nashta karne wala, means to destroy. Bhavajale, in the sansar samudra. So patatam, drowning. Jananam, living beings. Jeev, yuga ado, again very technical term, in the beginning of the era. Alambanam means protector, those who support. Jin Pad Yugam, the feet of Tirthankar. Samyak Pranamya. So now bow down respectfully or bow down in a correct manner. So this is the word meaning of the sloka. And now I say like that Bhagwan Rishabh, he became the first Tirthankara in the beginning of the era, and he was the first Tirthankar. And why the time cycle is important? So the time cycle is very important to understand when Tirthankar occur, because at present we don't have any Tirthankara on our earth, but we have Tirthankara in a different planet, and that is known as Mahavidya Kshetra. So if you see this time cycle, if we divide into two parts, then half part is the 10 Koda Kodi Sagaropam, again a time measurement. So if I need to take one whole lecture to explain it, but I can say simply, if we divide it in the two part, then one is Avasarpini. So at present, we are in the Avasarpini, descending order of the serpentine. And in this era, in the third part of the era, the Tirthankar Rishabh came into existence of the human incarnation of the Tirthankara. And then he got liberation in the end of this era. And then 23 Tirthankaras in the fourth era of this time cycle. So this is the specific time according to the Jain mythology. If we see, this is the time when Bhagwan Rishabh occurred. So that was the era of yogic people, and the yogic people was going to dry out, and their needs were fulfilled by the kalp trees. They need not to go for earning or doing any work. Their life was like a holiday time, and just spending in the leisure and pleasure, and all their requirements were fulfilled in the desire fulfilling tree that is known as kalpataru. So if you see in this image of time cycle, there are kalpataru in the second era, then third era, and finally in the first era, second era, and third era. Third era, third ara, the time cycle of that, then the culpric's capacity is going to diminish or lesser and lesser. And when you have less things and more people are candidate to take it, at that time there is fighting, then quarreling, and so many other things happen. So the same sort of things happen during the time of Rishabha. And Rishabha's father was King Nabi, and he was requested that now we are in the scarcity of everything, and in this scarcity we need some different type of organization. And at that time, Kulkar Nabhi pointed towards the Rishabh, and he was the prince. And at that time, he was crowned as a king first time in after the Yogic era, and he started the Karma Bhumi. Before that, there was no Asi Masi Krisi, no agriculture, no writing skills, and no weapon and anything. So when he became the king, and at that time, the king had got this sense that everybody have to need to trend. So he given the training of the Karma Yug, and he started it. And finally, I can say he started Dharma Yuga as well. He became first king, and when he became first king, and he trained everybody in cooking, in defense, in writing, in reading, all the types of skills were taught by Lord Rishabh. So I'm not going in the lot more explanation of the aura and time cycle, but in brief, the history, he is Yugam Yugado in the first one in the era of the dawn of the Karma Bhumi. In the Karma Yuga, he started everything, all the householder systems, the system of marriage, the system of kings, the armies, and the teaching, and everything was started. When he came to know, oh, everything is over, all training is given by me, but now there is one more training. As you know, according to Indian philosophical aspect, there was four type of purusharth: dharma, arth, kam, and So dharma, purusharth, and arth purusharth, kam purusharth, and moksha purusharth. So first of all, arth and kam means money, and kam means desire, and bhog, everything is connected. So two purusharth are leading towards the path of samsara, and rest two purusharths are leading towards the path of liberation. So, first to earth and calm in the society. If the society without earth, then they can't move forward. And if the society without calm, then no desire, no development, and finally, no society, no family. So, earth and calm are very important, money and desire. And the rest two purusharth leading towards the dharma yuga and leading towards the path of liberation means dharma and moksha, the path of religion. So, Bhagavan Rishabhnath established the fourfold congregation, and before that, he started his own sadhana, and he did a long fasting because people were not trained in the path of liberation, so nobody offered him food. And that's why today we celebrate Akshay Tritiya in the memory of Bhagavan Adinath, imperishable third, and very important fasting, and important for the various types of starting, because this is the auspicious day. So when he became a Tirthankar, he trained people in the path of religion. As you know, Tirthankar never trained during themselves when they are themselves training. When they became Arhat, Kevali, and they established fourfold order, and they became Tirthankar. So Tirthankar is very, very important for this era. So Adinath Bhagwan established Karma Yug, established Dharma Yug. He was the first king, first monk, and he started a new era for the mankind. Now we are moving further. Samyak pranamya jina pada yugam yugada. I bow down. You know, sometime we have to bow down someone powerful, but sometime we have to bow down out of our own humility, own kindness, compassion, and own respect towards someone elder and someone qualitative person. So here I bring in some Indic philosophy. According to science, Sankhya philosophy, they presented five Gyanendriya. So these, the sense of sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, which is very common, and we all are known as Panchendriya human beings, endowed with the high capacity of reasoning mind. But Sankhya philosophy given five more organs. These are known as the organs of karmendriya, and the karmendriya, the organs of action. So anus, genital, speech, hands and legs. So these are five karmendriya. So legs are also important as a karmendriya. If you want to go somewhere else, want to do something, action is very, very important. You know, our significance of the feet is gati. If there is no gati, then excuse me, very difficult to reach somewhere else. So significance of feet is very important. So first, it is the symbol of movement. Second, it act as a medium of motion, and it is the root of the body. You know, our body, if feet are not developed, a person person cannot stand up, cannot do, and our metabolic rate is also controlled by our feet, because there is motion. When there is motion, then all the development of the body depend on the foot. So feet are very, very important for the development of mankind, development of body and mind, and holistic personality development, because food also take energy from the ground energy is directly connected with the feet. So the feet are known as the root. If you know, if we don't water the root, then we cannot get fruit. Once what happened, a mom and dad, they planned a holiday and their son was at home. So they asked him, we are going a week away, so can you help us? Can you just water our flower plants? Then he said, yes mom, I will do. And mom told, "Oh, this is the water cane and this is the thing, you use it and you just do every day watering to the uh, plants." He said, okay. So what he did, just every day he sprinkled little bit water on the flowers and the leaves, but he never poured any amount of water in the root. What happened? Within 3 4 days, the flowers are just withering, and in 1 week, some flowers dried out, some flowers are in a bad condition. And after 1 week, when parents came and when they saw their flowers are almost dried out and they are really in a bad condition, they asked their son, "Oh, son, what you did? You are so busy." "No, I given water even twice a day, not once, but you told me once, but I did twice." Then he said, "How you did?" He said, "I took some water in my hand and I sprinkled. I thought that is enough." And then say, "No, my son, root are very important. If you need any fruit, root must be taken care." So our feet are our root. And in one whole science, there is a science of reflexology. And in reflexology, in the chart, everything is pointed out that, okay, here is your heart, here is your lungs and kidneys and this and that. And not only the sole of the feet, but upper portion is also have some power. So feet itself is very, very important. And I remember one important thing, that once previously I never have belief in the reflexology, but once what happened, I was in London, I just reached, and I got some problem in my health. So I requested Tripti Shah, please Tripti, come and help me. And she given me 1 hour treatment. And then she asked, "Samniji, is there any worry in your mind?" Then I said, "No, not really. I don't think I have any worry." Then she says, "Can I pinpoint if you don't mind?" Then I say, "I don't mind. You freely ask me." Then she said, "Can I say, is any worry related to parent side?" And then I say, "Oh, yes, Priti. Yes, Tripti. Yes, I can recollect, because just I came from India and I was in Rajasthan. I was in my village and my parents came there. So this time, first time I have seen, when I was starting my journey, about to start, then I seen my mother has some tears in her eyes. And I never seen, even when I get ready for my initiation, she always supported me. But first time in these years I seen when I'm going and she's just, her eyes are full of tears. She said, okay, I don't know when I get your darshan. Then I said, yes, every year we try to come. Gurudev do Maryada Mahotsav, and we used to come. And when I left and I reached Ahmedabad, and then I get a message from family member that her health, suddenly her health is so serious. So I have that day my ticket flight to London. And as soon as I reached here, I got in information she got some heart trouble. And after a few days, she got some paralytic attack. So just, parents did a lot. So we all have that Rinanuband, uh, though we left the home, left the worldly life, but we never forget their upkar, their help, their all support throughout the life. So just I remembered, oh, I couldn't help her spiritually, and if I would be there, then I could help her anything spiritually. And after that I never seen her because she passed away. After, yeah, she was there for one whole year, but that was my final year of my PhD. So that year I never went India for 16, 18 months, or and she passed away. So, in reflexology, how they get the information. Oh, you worrying? Oh, the worry type of parental side. And I narrated everything to Tripti. And that day, it was amazing for me that our feet has that type of information, and how deep they feel, because through the feeling and the way of Tripti's reflexology, she is not pulling, not pushing, just very gentle, and gently she touch, and then she told me all these things. Then I say, oh, it is not only the reflexology of feet, but mind is connected. So the reflexology in our feet, there are almost all types of major organs, nerve ending in the feet. And also, when the reflexology is given, then blood circulation is improved, energy level is improved, toxins of particular part of the body released, and simultaneously it is a natural healing, and also it is a ahimsa healing. No violence is included in it, as you know. Any type of medicine or vaccine or anything comes in the market, behind the scene there is so much hinsa, so much testing on the birds, on the animal, on the other people. So how things improved, but this is totally a non-violent therapy, and it is in the feet. So very important, the bowing down to the feet, because all energy circuits are there, and the toes are very important, because the head level is controlled by the toes, and the programming of mind is also here, so very important. And therefore Acharya Mantung is not saying, oh Lord, I bow down to your heart, your face, your head, or anything. Just in the feet, a Charana Yugal, in the feet of the Lord. So, feet are very, very important. And also, when we see that Bhagwan Adinath is one who given us lot more training, the uh, training of Dharma Yuga, training of Karma Yuga, and training of everything. So the path of liberation mapped by Adinath, and here in this sloka, I duly bow down to Lord Rishabh's feet, which increases the sign of crown jewels. What is that? Of the deity, because every Tirthankar have specific Atishayas, and due to Atishayas, Koti Devata, millions of Devi and Devatas are in his seva. And when Bhagavan get the knowledge, Keval Gyan, at that time, for 64 Indra, Chosat Indra, with their families, with their subordinates, juniors, and Devis and Devta, they came over to there and celebrate it as Panchakalyanak. So when Bhagwan gave Keval Gyan on the omniscient knowledge of Bhagwan, all the Tirthankaras are coming. All the Indras are coming with many divine beings. So now a question is here. All divine beings are coming to Bhagwan? No, only the Indra, they are Samyaktvi, having the right perspective, and then they motivated the divine beings. Most of the Samyaktvi Devi Devata tried to reach in the congregation of Bhagwan, because there are so many divine beings and many Mithyatvi Devas, so they don't have the desire. Even Samyaktvi Deva, they used to come, as you see, I will say in the next lecture, in the second sloka, how the Samavasaran is created, and in the Samavasaran, how divine being helps, and how divine being create so many artifact artificial things, and how they create things, achit kamal and everything. So that I kept for the second sloka. But the crowns of the Indras bowing down. When you bow down, at that time, if there is crown and jewel, and these are itself luminous because they are divine being. And it is said that a divine being has so much wealth. If whole wealth of this prithvi, if we make a condensed a small piece of it, then the divine being, if we compare the whole wealth of the earth with the divine being, only their one shoes, their one shoes has so many jewels and so much costly that the wealth of we can wave, we can put one side the whole wealth of the earth and the other side the one shoes of the divine being. So that much wealth each and every divine beings have. So we should not be egoistic. So such divine beings, they are bowing down to Adinath Bhagwan. And again, Tamovitanam, very important word. So when these deities are bowing down on the feet of Lord Adinath, which has the power to eradicate the darkness of sin, became the savior of falling beings in the samsara. So Bhagwan became a savior who are falling in the samsara. So transmigration of the soul from one life to other life. So Bhagavan, when they bow down to the feet of Bhagavan, then illuminateness of Bhagavan's nail, the big toes nail, has a specific light, and that light is not a created light, but the aura of Bhagwan is so powerful. The light coming from the toes is illuminating the crown jewels of the Indra. So, it is a contrast. Why so much power? Because the wealth of Tirthankara, the power of Tirthankaras are enormous. Even we cannot explain whatever written we can say, and the written and the knowledge of Tirthankara is so vast. So the Atisayas of Tirthankaras are so high, and the luminousness of Tirthankara's body is so bright, and that brightness brighten the crown jewels of the Indra. So here is a big contrast, the wealth of earth, the wealth of divine being, and the wealth and atishay of Indras, and the atishaya of Tirthankaras. So very highly 35 atishayas, and these atishayas giving way to uh, illuminate the darkness, illuminate the dispel the darkness, and enlightening, kindling the rays of spirituality in each and every divine being and each and every living being who are coming in the contact of Bhagwan, because Bhagwan is showing the path, because we all are in the whirlpool of the samsara, and sometime or other time due to the uday bhav we put more importance to the material wealth, but the spiritual wealth is the highest wealth. As you see, the wealth of earth, the wealth of divine being, but highest wealth in the Tirthankara and their Atishay, because they can enlighten the crown jewel of the divine being, and they can show the path to the drowning beings in the samsara, in the attachment and aversion, in the rag and dvesh. So I conclude here. The first slok is showing the Atishay of Bhagwan, telling us the history of Jainism, and telling us the importance of the feet. And feet are very, very powerful. And therefore, I request those who are connected in this lecture, bowing down to the feet of Sadhu and Sadhvi, to their parents, is very, very important, to the elderly people, and this is very specific in our Indic tradition. So we should not forget that how much power in the feet. Feet are auspicious, feet are washed, feet are venerated, because they have so much power due to reflexology point of view, scientific point of view, and connected to the earth. So finally, it is very important to bow down to the feet of religious, qualitative, or elderly people, and which connect us and give us lot more energy and lot more blessing from them. So I conclude with भक्तामर प्रणत मौली मणि प्रभाणा मुद्योतकम दलित पाप तमोवितानम सम्यक् प्रणम्य जिन पादयुगं युगादा वालम्बनं भवजले पततां जनाना. I would like to thank Sachi Mehta. She is the girl. In 2020, she took the challenge of 48 days and she completed her Bhaktamar. So she was one of the winner in the race of Bhaktamar, first girl of JVB Gyansala. So I thought, let me give a chance to Sachi. So she did very well. I would like to bless from the bottom of my heart Sachi and their parents, Prachi and Hardik Mehta, and she is the bright star of our Gyansala, and also those who are learning today Bhaktamar. I would like to take 5 minutes, any specific question, if you have, feel free to ask. Uh, and then we start learning for 10 minutes. So I unmute you. Yes, you can unmute yourself, but be concise and very genuine question means very important because time is important. People have learning time also here. Any question?
Vanda Miss Samiji, आपका
Yes.
आपका Samiji, when you are saying the slok, is there a, like you say, pronunciations are quite important, and which is what we are learning. But is there a speed at which you need to say it, or is there a tune which you need to say it at?
Yes, everything matters because when you do with melody, because tune affects our brain so much. Like sound leads to silence, so taking you into the meditation. So everything has their own priorities. So finally, I say, don't do so fast like Bhaktamara Pranat Mauli Mani Prabhanam